I'm Mark Bowers and I'm photographer at large for The Guardian Australia. I'm talking pictures this morning with photographer for the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age, Alex Ellinghausen, and a very warm budget day welcome, although it's quite cold out here under the budget tree.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Alex, this is your favourite time of the year, that is when the budget's over for another year, but can I burst your bubble because the Prime Minister this week told us the next budget would be March, so it's less than a year away.
I'll worry about it next year.
Alex, there's certainly a theatrical element to what they bowl up for us for visuals, isn't there? But on the actual day itself, the visuals they bowl up is sort of the Treasurer arriving at Parliament, and this is your picture of him, and you've got that iconic flagpole in the background, the Treasurer arriving. It kind of says it all.
He's got a very recognisable silhouette. You can tell he's got the budget book in his hand as well.
It's almost cartoonish because his ears are sort of backlit. This is Lucas's picture of the water framed between it.
Does the powering go every year?
No, sometimes they turn it off.
Yeah.
Lucas is very taken with the belts on the bollards.
Well, there's one thing that Parliament is definitely not in deficit of, and that's bollards. There's a huge surplus.
There's a surplus of bollards. So after they've finished going and selling their budget through the press gallery, they go and do the press conference in the lockup. I use a flash in those press conferences to sort of isolate and exaggerate the subjects. Do you use that technique?
Oh, every once in a while. It depends on how messy the background is.
The worst is the unused TV tripod.
Oh, if I had $1 for every time I had that in a photo. You know?
Basically, we're photographing people in suits at lecterns. The cartoonist can draw these really complicated issues into one condensed, quite beautiful piece of art usually. Let's have a look at some of the front pages. Mr. Shakespeare has done the dragon, and Jim here trying to tame him with a little teeny fork.
I'm not an expert on medieval weaponry, but I don't think this pitchfork's really going to do the trick.
No, I don't think it's going to do the trick either. Johannes Leek on the Australian, he does in a cartoon sense what we do when we try to light things or silhouette things. It's isolate and exaggerate the ears and the smile, which are kind of the quintessential Jim Chalmers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don Lindsay at the West Australian has used the twister board, which is a nice slant on it, money spinner, and a very nice depiction of Mr. Chalmers there. So then the lockup ends at 7:30 when as soon as the speech hits the dispatch box and the Treasurer starts to speak, the lockup's lifted. You were already out, so you were in there, but I had to race out. And in comes the Prime Minister usually. What are you looking for during the speech?
It's usually that early on period when they come in the room, who they speak to, who they're chatting with, who they come with, but also that couple of moments before that big speech. Yeah. And the Treasurer did come in with his family.
Yeah, Laura, and
Annabelle
and Leo were here.
You know, as parents, if we got to turn up to their school concerts and plays, they should come to our big day.
I've always found that really the whole day comes down to that final bit where the Prime Minister slaps on the back, shakes the hand or hugs them. The next day we move on budget plus one, we call it.
Yeah, there's a huge buzz on the morning after the budget. The courtyard is full. You get the Treasurer, you get the Prime Minister, you get the opposition leader, you know, zigzagging between the different networks.
At one point the Treasurer snuck up on the Prime Minister, who was talking to Michael Rowland on ABC.
Yep.
News Breakfast.
Photobomb.
I did love this Matt Golding cartoon. Gina Reinhardt expects her rebate. Everyone gets a rebate. The rich, the poor, everyone, and she's inspecting her rebate with a microscope here.
That's small.
There it is. It's small. Later in the week we move on and it's the Leader of the Opposition's chance to be appalled at what the government has done, and I can do much better. The opposition front bench sort of applauding with the Leader acknowledging.
And the wave.
Yeah. After the speech, family members are hugged, front benches are hugged. It's been a great pleasure unpicking the events of this very busy week, and I'll let you do the honours.
Thanks for having me, Mike, and back to you, David.